Hand load test between 38 Special and 32 H&R Magnum. And I've been interested in doing a test like this for a while because a lot of the 32 H&R Magnum loads out there, factory loads, are not necessarily that great. So what I did is I loaded with XTP bullets on both 38 Special and the 32 H&R Magnum to try to get a really close fair comparison here. So I loaded these up with a fast burning powder, and that should really help in these snub nose revolvers. But an 85 grain XTP for the 32 H&R Mag and a 125 grain for the 38 Special. And these are just kind of interesting loads, interesting cartridges when we really take a look at them and compare them, because the 32 H&R Magnum, basically its pressure is a little bit higher than 38 Special+P, but it's still within the same area. It's about 21,000 psi, but we're working with about a grain less powder, so it should be a little bit more efficient cartridge. Kind of interesting little tiny poison pills here. Be kind of an interesting test to see how these two compare when we put pretty comparable cartridges. And the reason why I'm using these two guns to make the test as fair as possible: this Ruger LCR and 327 Federal Magnum weighs about 17 ounces. This Taurus 605 and 357 weighs about 21 ounces. However, when I look at the recoil calculator, it actually shows that the 32 H&R will have a little bit less, mostly because we have a little bit less powder, a little bit lighter bullet, and also the bullet travel in the guns will be a lot more fair with this test because this is a 1 7/8 inch barrel. But as we can see, the cartridge is a little bit shorter than the 38 Special, so a 2-inch barrel for the 38 Special will give it about the even amount of barrel travel in the gun. So we're going to go through the chronograph and see what kind of velocity we're getting at the same time and accuracy. And then, as always, we're going to go through the Juggernaut box, which contains a 1 3/4 inch pack of bologna that kind of simulates the resistance of a human pectoral muscle. We have it covered by 4 layers of denim to try to clog that hollow point. We're not trying to, but you know, most people are wearing clothes. And then followed by 1/4 inch medium density fiberboard that's about the same density and thickness as like sternum or ribs, and into water jugs to catch these bullets. How this normally compares to ballistics shells: if we can stop that bullet in the back of jug 1 where we get a dent out the back, that's comparison to about 9 inches of ballistics shell. Back of jug 2 about 12 inches, back of jug 3 about 15 inches, and so on. So let's get started with the test and see how Hornady XTP hand loads compare between 32 H&R Mag and 38 Special. All right, first up is the 38 Special. These are, by the way, considered a +P loading. So 38 +P, 125 grain XTPs. We'll see what we get here. I'm about 5 yards from the target, 4 yards from the chronograph. 904, 906, 903. Kind of pulled that shot. That was all on me. No read. I pulled a couple shots. Gonna run a couple more. We'll keep going with this. 915. And I pulled another shot. I need to get one more reading. All right, let's see if I can get a 5th reading here. 900. So very consistent there. You can see the accuracy is relatively tight. Those 3 shots I pulled was definitely all me. I haven't shot this Taurus in a little while. I know I'm making excuses, but kind of not used to the double action pull after not shooting it for a little while. Now let's go on to the 32 H&R Mag and see how that compares. All right, now on to the 32 H&R Mag. The closest thing I've tested to this was the Federal Personal Defense round, and that also used an 85 grain Hornady XTP bullet. Even though it was Federal, they were using an 85 grain XTP. That's an 85 grain XTP. But they were getting an average out of this gun, 885 feet per second. So let's see if my hand loads can beat the 885 feet per second. 1024, 1044, 1035, 1006. No read on that. Let me run another one. I pulled that shot. My chronograph is really picky about where you land these shots. That's why I use the target at the same time. 10, 11, so relatively consistent. Not as much as that 38 Special, but we're definitely going over the Federal Personal Defense round version that was giving 885, so not too bad overall. Now let's hit the ballistic box and see how these compare to each other. All right, first up is the 38 Special, and by the way, this is a little bit of a step above some of the factory ammo I've tested with this particular 125 grain XTP bullet. I believe the American gunner was giving about 800 feet per second with the same bullet. So we're getting about 100 feet per second more with a hand load. So let's see how this does. Wow. Tremendous splashback of water. I wasn't expecting to get a bath like that. All right, the baloney pack is still together. Wouldn't expect much more with the 38 Special. And the shot is definitely through the denim. Here is the exit. Here's the entrance and the exit. So it doesn't look like there's really much expansion, maybe a tiny amount as it entered the fiberboard. And the damage through the baloney pack is pretty minimal. Now let's see what we got in water jugs. All right, first jug actually took on just a huge amount of damage. The hole entering the jug is much larger than the starting diameter, and it split the whole side out there, so it's definitely dumping a ton of energy in this first jug here. Jug 2 as well, it cracked the whole thing out. That's hitting with a lot more energy than what I would have expected to see with that round. Impact in 3, we can see an impact in 4. There's no bullet in 3. And the bullet is on the box. There is a slight dent in jug 5. That's going to indicate comparison to ballistics gel about 18 to 19 inches. So that's actually pretty good for what we're working with here. And what we got is just a tiny amount of expansion. It doesn't look like the diameter is any larger of the nose than the rest of the bullet, but it did expand that nose. And even though it's not expanding to larger than diameter, that flatness of that is actually causing it to slow down and not over penetrate. So judging from what we're seeing here, that's not too bad of performance. Now let's see how the 32 H&R mag hand load compares. All right, we had a little bit more velocity on a lighter bullet, so I don't know what to expect here, but we'll see what we get. 32 H&R. Definitely a more accurate shot than that 38. I did not get hit with too much water though, but the first jug has a massive amount of damage. All right, here's the baloney pack. Entered through the denim. And I would say there is a little bit more damage here than with the 38 Special. Not significantly more, but we see fiberboard pieces in there. That's indicative of it hitting with a higher velocity. And the exit hole, it's kind of hard to tell if I see expansion before it hit this fiberboard or not. So let's see what we got in water jugs. All right, first jug, very similar to the amount of damage that 38 Special put out. A more centered shot, it's actually moving very straight in line without deviating to one way or the other. Jug 2, we went clean through 2, a little bit less damage in the jug overall versus that 38. There's definitely an impact in jug 4. Looks like the bullet may be in there as well. And we're drifting a little bit to the left. Impact on 4 is a little bit low and left. A little bit of dent in the back of jug 4. So instead of maybe 19 inches, we're going to look at about 18 inches with the 32 H&R mag. And what I have with this bullet is one side seems to look like the 38 Special, the other side looks a little bit different, like possibly it hit and tumbled a little bit and ripped off some of those petals there. So definitely we're seeing that a little bit less momentum. It's gonna wanna tumble a little bit, as where the 38 Special did not. So the takeaway from looking at these two cartridges, I think they both did quite well. I would have no hesitation carrying either of these rounds. You might get into the whole hand load for self-defense thing, whether you'd want to do that or not. However, I think in these times when you can't find ammo, and you can reload really quality ammo, you know, it's kind of better. It's kind of better to have something that's going to work rather than worry about the what ifs. Personally, that's what I would think. And plus, you have that excuse where you can't even find factory ammo for this, so that's what you had. But I would say, judging from this, both rounds seem to work pretty well. I can't really say I think one's greater than the other. However, you know, most of your 32s hold 6 rounds, and they're going to be less recoil with those than the 38 Special. So that's something to think about there. So that's what you get today between 32 H&R and 38 Special XTP bullets, hand loads, and snub nose revolvers. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.